With a fish in it.
Good morning, everybody. The ceremony is about to start. Can you please turn off your cell phones?
How quickly introduce you going?
Good morning and welcome. I thank everyone for coming out today. My name is Russ Davidson, and because of time constraints, I now introduce Mackenzie Weatherall from Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick's office, and she is here to express her thoughts about Veterans Day, and I think she has a few words about our keynote speaker, United States Ensign Joshua Johnson.
Good morning. I just want to begin by taking the time and opportunity to thank you for being here with us on this day of reflection. Unfortunately, Congressman Fitzpatrick is unable to join us here, but he sends his gratitude for this beautiful event. Today, we take the sacred time to honor and give thanks to those men and women who have offered life itself for the preservation of justice and freedom. Today, we reflect on the sacrifice of generations of service members who have faithfully and courageously answered the call to serve us with life and blood. Today, we realize that our very existence is the result of their sacrifices. These men and women who have gone before us are the silent strength of our nation. They are the foundation of our country, and their service permits us to pursue the happiness and prosperity that each human soul desires. Their very willingness to serve is the beginning of the freedoms that we enjoy, and they have asked for nothing in return. On this Memorial Day, we are given the opportunity to be particularly reflective and gracious. We are called to consider the depth of the sacrifices of those who have died for us, and we are called to consider this high cost of freedom. This Memorial Day is an opportunity to reflect on the admirable example of their faithfulness and passion, as it begs a deep love of country and an unspeakable loyalty to those with whom they serve. In 1776, before his execution by the British for his work as a spy, Nathan Hale stated, "I only regret that I have but one life to give for my country." This is the spirit and the grit of the American fighter. Men and women who have literally poured out their lives for love of our great country. Let us never allow a day to go by in which we do not reflect on the souls who have gone before us to pay the highest price for freedom and justice. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for a friend. May God bless our American heroes. May God bless their families with comfort and peace. And may God bless the United States of America. Now at this time, I would like to welcome Joshua Johnson up to the stage. Congressman Fitzpatrick wanted to thank you personally for your service on this day and for being here with us and speaking here. And we have a flag flown over the United States Capitol just to recognize that and welcome him here.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Today's ceremony is dedicated to United States Air Force veteran Ken Snyderman. Kenny was a supporter and contributor to the VFW, the American Legion, and to Yardley's Memorial Day observances. In past years, he alone arranged the spectacular military flyovers, brought music to our streets, and reminded us all to honor those who died so that we may live. Mr. Snyderman served at the Tak Lee Air Force Base, Thailand, 1968 and 69. He developed combat, reconnaissance, and after-action film that captured the secret missions flown over the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Today's ceremony is our effort to conduct a proper vigil for our war dead. It is offered with the realization that many people, many families and friends, the vigil never ends. The World Population Review website, April 2022, lists 21 countries now at war and 40 ongoing unresolved conflicts. Conservative estimates mark current global war casualties at 200,000 plus. My comrades and I thank Yardley Mayor Chris Harding, Borough Manager Paula Johnson, Police Chief Joseph Kelly, and Emergency Manager Wes Foraker for their welcome and support. We also thank our attending auxiliary units and their leaders, the Guardians of the Washington Crossing National Cemetery, led by Bob Craven, members of the New Jersey Civil Air Patrol, led by Major Mary Beth Williams and Captain Robert McSellen, the Pennsbury ROTC, led by Major James Mack and Technical Sergeant Sharon Lynch, and the Naval Sea Cadets I do not see here today, but they are also part of our supporting groups. Distinguished guests joining us today include the Reverend Dr. Douglas Hoagland and our keynote speaker, United States Navy Ensign Joshua D. Johnson. Also in our audience today is Yardley Borough Council Member Kim Siegel-Morris. And please forgive me if there was anyone that I have not mentioned. Today's live bugler is Eagle Scout Robbie Alneck, sitting in the corner, and thank you. On behalf of our community and members of Woodside Presbyterian, I thank Reverend Hoagland for his care for others and for doing more good than I or anyone else could measure. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Reverend Hoagland, who will now deliver our morning prayer.
Would you join me in a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we gather this day to remember those who served our country and the cause of liberty with every ounce of mind, heart, spirit, and will. They are more than just a name on a monument, a picture on the mantle, or a fading newspaper clipping. They are our parents, our siblings, our spouses, our children, our family, our friends and comrades. We can never forget them or what they did to give us our lasting freedom. We wish they were standing by our side today. But we know that because they took a stand for equality, freedom, and truth, our nation stands today. Help us, dear Lord, to follow their selfless example. Strengthen us with your Spirit so that we may rise up and be one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. We pray this in your strong name. Amen.
Thank you, Doug. To begin our ceremony, would all of you able to do so, please rise, face the flag of our nation, and present a proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joining us now is today's singer, Marge Swider. Marge has been part of our ceremony since 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Marge.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Mrs. Swider. It is known that our mayor, Chris Harding, is an untiring contributor to our community, a focused advocate for borough causes, and an exceptional and passionate leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mayor Harding to express his thoughts about Memorial Day.
Commander, members of the American Legion, members of the VFW, veterans, emergency service providers, Yardley Borough residents, friends, family, and honored guests. As always, I am grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. In recognition of the reverence of today, I would like to speak to you this morning about the importance of family. Family can mean different things to different people at different times. Family can evoke various emotions that can alter based on the events surrounding one's own individual moments. Some of us may have families that are growing, maybe the expected birth of a newborn, or the blending of two families because of a new relationship. These situations can be a cause for celebration. Unfortunately, some of us may have families that are losing members, whether it be through Mother Nature's unwavering clock or through tragic events like those we have experienced and heard about in the news over recent days. Family loss can be devastating whenever it occurs, whether that loss is anticipated or comes at the impact of a moment's notice. We also have work families, community families, families like our Yardley Borough Police Department that are required to thrive together in order to survive and succeed. And families like the group of honored veterans that gather here with us this morning, whether they are those veterans that are up front with me today or veterans that are dispersed amongst today's audience. But as mentioned, tragically, most of us know the feeling of losing a family member all too well. That gut-wrenching moment when you know life has changed forever, when extreme sadness and sorrow course through your bloodstream, rendering you lifeless for what seems like an eternity. The men and women of our armed forces have unfortunately experienced this all too often. And while they have the same emotions, that same sense of utter devastation, it is in an undefinable act of selflessness, in that pain that brings them together here today and each and every Memorial Day. I ask you to imagine, if you can, losing someone as close to you that you refer to them as your brother or sister in arms. And yes, this is how our veterans hold the ones who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their hearts, in their souls, in their memories. They were brothers. They were sisters. They are heroes. And it is these heroes we honor this morning. These veteran brothers and sisters who were in a tragic instant taken from us because when country called, they selflessly gave of themselves and made the ultimate sacrifice. And on this Memorial Day, it is to them that we pay our utmost respect and honor and promise to never forget. And this massive group of family heroes is made up of individuals sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, siblings and relatives, friends and acquaintances, and sadly, strangers. To personally identify with those we have lost, we speak to those they have left behind. So on this most solemn of days, while you are paying your utmost respect to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, please take a moment to speak to the family that they so selflessly left behind. These hero brother and sister in arms that are amongst us today, as they are the family we grieve with and remember with. Because it is through these people, this family, that we can best connect and pay our respects. And it is through these heroes amongst us that our words can become more than just words. Our words can become a powerful voice, and our voice can loudly proclaim a message of eternal gratefulness to this, our extended family, that will forever carry on. And this is why we joined our veterans in today's early morning hours as they carried out their rifle salutes to honor our dead, to never forget. And it's why we gather at this moment, at this monument, surrounded by those who were and are willing to fight for and defend our nation, to always remember. And this is why we will come together as a community in a few hours and watch a parade led by those who we honor, respect, and thank, while we reflect and remember those who can no longer join us and who will never able to come home. We do this to honor their sacrifice. It gives me great pride to stand before you today on Memorial Day and assure you that as long as I am mayor of Yardley Borough, this community will continue to do everything in its power to honor our veterans and their families and to never forget their sacrifices. With observances like Carry the Load and today's Memorial Day activities, we will ensure that everyone recognizes the ultimate sacrifice so many of our soldiers have made to protect and guarantee the American freedoms we enjoy today and every day. And I challenge each and every one of us here this morning to join me in an effort to make Memorial Day a day like no other. A day where as a community, Yardley Borough makes a promise that no American hero, not one, will ever give their life without our acknowledgement of their sacrifices and our acknowledgement of our devastating loss as a family. They fought, battled, and died so we could live. Today we gather, honor, and speak their names so they will never be forgotten. Thank you. God bless all the amazing men and women of our armed forces, and may God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor Harding. Joining us next is VFW Commander Kurt Sabota, who will express his thoughts about Memorial Day.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming on this day. It's very important that we're here today for this memorial service, and I know I'll get in trouble for this later, but I'm going to free ad-lib a little bit, which is going to frustrate my wife, I'm sure. I think it's important that we stop and reflect upon what this day means for our nation, for our community, for our individual families. I admit my personal feelings have changed a lot through the years about this day. Sorry, I won't step away from the mic. As a son of a World War II Pacific Marine, it was my job every day to put up the flag on our 20-foot flagpole in front of our house. We were the only house in the entire community that had a 20-foot flagpole. And it was frustrating at times, rainy days, snow days. It was very frustrating. Every Memorial Day, I'd put up the flag to half-mast until noon, and then raise it to full-mast for the rest of the day. I did it because it was a lesson my father taught me, to remind us of those we lost until noon, and to celebrate and honor those who survived for the rest of the day. Today is a day both to remember and to celebrate. It was a lesson that was baked into my core. My father's unit in Peleliu lost 254% casualties. That's more than twice the people assigned to the unit at the landing. He was wounded on the 10th day of the battle, and he lost many friends, and he would sit through most Memorial Days, and he would drink a glass. He would have a glass of whiskey, scotch, and a cigar. I apologize. And reflect on his friends lost and what it meant to him. And I never forgot that. That lesson of family is important, like the mayor said. My older brother was drafted for the Vietnam War, and I served as a naval officer. And then later as a father, I watched my son enlist during this past war in Afghanistan. And while I was worried for his service and worried of what would come from that, I understood his need to serve. I understood the calling. Today in our home, we continue the tradition of raising the flag every day. Admittedly, Alexa reminds me every morning to raise the flag at 8 a.m. and my children are immediately like, "Dad, time to put up the flag." And someday my younger son will take over and put up that flag every day. It'll be one of his chores. But I also know my family's I also know that my family's more unique because of our military heritage. Most of our neighbors, most of our friends do not have that connection to the military. This community does not necessarily have that connection to the military. Only about 6% of the American adult population have ever worn a uniform of the United States military. So we veterans, and I speak to the veterans, we are the minority here. The majority of people may not understand the purpose of this day the same way we and our families do. And again, this is the ad lib part. I think it's important that when people say things that don't make sense to you or in context of what you understand the day to be, rather than casting judgment and comments on social media, maybe come alongside them and explain to them what it means. Because ignorance is the thing that hurts us all. And the more we can raise people's awareness to what it means and how it plays out and the importance of this day, the better we all are. There's not a person in this uniform who wouldn't have sacrificed his life or her life for this country. And it's not some abstract idea of the flag. It's the person next to you. It's the person, your shipmate in my case. I was a sailor. It's the person on the airplane. It's the person who's at the base. That is us. And that is how the military people see it. It's not this abstract idea I'm defending my country. It's just simply, I'm protecting my friends. We are all friends in our community, and I'm really proud of that. So, for those of you here, I thank you so much for being here this morning and joining me in this time of remembrance and honoring those who've lost. And also, as we head into noon, let's raise those flags to full mast in celebration of those who returned and for the legacy we pass on to our family, to our community, and to our children. Thank you very much.
Also here to speak to us about Memorial Day is American Legion Commander, Navy Petty Officer Ted Smith.
Good morning and thank you for coming. Memorial Day is not just about barbecues, parades, and hanging out. Over the past several years, I've watched great men and women rise and fall. I think about how they joined the fight for the greater good so that we can have the old ways back. Some of these fallen warriors carried the torch in a war that started before they were born. That's what Memorial Day means to me. Take today to realize how good we have it because the few and the proud have fallen doing the unthinkable, while terror finds a way to bring us the unbearable to recognize their valor. These fallen heroes hold because they wouldn't settle for the status quo. These heroes existed because they must. It is in their nature to take a stand and defend at all costs. Memorial Day is about people from all walks of life, races, genders, religions, and opinions, aligning to a common goal. We will not stand down. I can say I miss them dearly, and this Memorial Day will hit me differently. Because even though the war might be over now, for some the battle still continues. They did it to prove a strong national defense, to keep America safe and secure against those enemies who would destroy our American way of life. They did it for their fellow comrades, for those fighting by their side against all odds, and those who eventually separated from the military, but proudly claim their status as veterans. They do it for the children, so that they can grow up in America that is strong and free. It is through this last pillar, children, that we must continue to honor the spirit of those heroes. We must share their legacies and tell the stories of those who are no longer here. Nearly 7,000 Americans, men and women, have died fighting the global war on terrorism. Many were parents. There are many tangible things we can do to honor the service of these fallen heroes. First and foremost is take care of our loved ones. In some cases, this means providing financial assistance to help the children obtain higher education. Memorial Day is about gratitude and remembrance. It is about honoring the men and women who made it possible for us to gather here today in peace. They are truly the guardians of our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander Smith. It is now my distinct honor to introduce today's keynote speaker, United States Navy Ensign Joshua D. Johnson. Mr. Johnson joined the Marines in 1994. He graduated basic training November 10th, the Marine Corps birthday. 1996, he deployed to Rota, Spain as a signals intelligence operator, and thereafter to Sudo Bay, Greece, supporting Marine and naval operations in the Mediterranean. 1991, Mr. Johnson was discharged from the Marines at the rank of corporal. In 2010, Mr. Johnson joined the Navy Reserves as an intelligence specialist. 2013 through 2015, he deployed with the United States Africa Command in England and served as a political and military analyst focused on West Africa. Upon his return and through most of 2020, Mr. Johnson served with the Office of Naval Intelligence Unit 1201, Fort Dix, New Jersey. In August of 2020, Petty Officer IS-1, Intelligence Specialist First Class, Johnson was selected for direct commissioning as an intelligence officer. Upon his selection, Ensign Johnson mobilized to Djibouti, a small country on the Horn of Africa. Ensign Johnson and the supporting SEAL teams monitored the Horn of Africa terrorist activities and partnered with regional forces in the fight against global terrorism. Mr. Johnson returned from Djibouti in April. He received his commission as ensign on 17 May 2022. VFW Commander Kurt Sabota presented Ensign Johnson his oath of office during the commissioning ceremony. For his time in service, Ensign Johnson was awarded, among numerous other decorations, the Joint Service Commendation Medal twice and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medals. Ensign Johnson is a graduate of the University of Maryland, University College, the George Mason and Holy Family Universities, and the University of the Sciences. Additionally, Ensign Johnson serves as a Scoutmaster of BSA Troop 230 and is active with VFW 6393 and the Knights of Columbus here in Yardley. Mr. Johnson resides in Lower Makefield Township with his wife Sandy and their children, Caitlin, Isabel, Alexander, Lucy, and Maxanne, and their granddaughter, Elena. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming United States Navy Ensign Joshua D. Johnson.
Good morning, family, friends, and neighbors. Again, my name is Josh Johnson. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and currently serving as a Navy reservist. Between the two, I've just recently had 17 years of service and have now been an ensign for 13 days. I recently returned from a 9-month deployment in East Africa in the small country of Djibouti, which is just north of Somalia, where I had to witness things that I hope none of you will ever have to. We are gathered here today to remember our fallen brothers and sisters who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We have been at war for nearly 21 years and have buried more than 7,000 military members during that time. Last August 13th, U.S. service members died during a terrorist bombing in Afghanistan as we withdrew from the country. This will not be the last Americans to make such a sacrifice. There was Navy Corpsman Max Soviak of Berlin Heights, Ohio. His high school football coach described him as fearless. He was 22. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Knaus of Corrytown, Tennessee, was a member of the 82nd Airborne. He was 23. Marine Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover of Salt Lake City was serving his 3rd tour in Afghanistan. He was 31. Marine Corps Sergeant Jahani Rosario Pichardo of Lawrence, Massachusetts, was a member of her brigade's female engagement team responsible for screening civilians while respecting cultural sensitivities. She was 25. Marine Sergeant Nicole Gee of Sacramento, California, posted an Instagram photo of herself cradling an Afghan baby and the caption, "I love my job," just days before the attack. She was 23. Marine Corporal Hunter Lopez of Indio, California, was the son of 2 Riverside Sheriff's Deputy Department officers. He was 22. Marine Corporal Humberto Sanchez of Logansport, Indiana, was on the homecoming court during his senior year in high school. He died at 22. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz of St. Charles, Missouri, liked to play video games, according to his father. He was 20. Lance Corporal Dylan Marola of Cucamonga, California, had been in Afghanistan for just more than a week. He planned to attend college and study engineering. He was 20. Lance Corporal Kareem Nikui of Norco, California, served in junior ROTC before joining the Marines. He was 20. You may notice that many of these diverse men and women were not even born when this war began. They came from every background, yet they shared a common goal: to serve America and make life better for others. From the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism, more than 1 million American veterans have made the supreme sacrifice. They died so that we could continue to cherish the things they loved: God, country, and family. While this day is meant to be a day to remember those that we have lost, I hope that you all will spend the day with friends and family, enjoying each other's company while grilling or enjoying the pool. However, I challenge everyone here to take a moment out of the festivities for a minute of silence at those gatherings to remember the fallen that left us too soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ensign Johnson. I'm now proud to introduce a valued member of our community, VFW Auxiliary Trustee Carolyn Havrilla. Carolyn will read Canadian Doctors Lieutenant Colonel John McCree's poem In Flanders Field. Ms. Havrilla will also introduce today's Poppy Queens. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Havrilla. Mrs. Havrilla, excuse me.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved, and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Thank you. And now we have our poppy queens. Are their names listed here, Russ? Thank you. Sure.
Today's first Poppy Queen, representing VFW Post 6393 and its auxiliary, is Eleanor Ann Tigner. Ellie is the granddaughter of former VFW 6393 Auxiliary President Marge Tigner. She is the daughter of William and Brittany Tigner. Ellie is an honor roll student at Snow Hill Elementary School, Snow Hill, Maryland. She rides horses, plays soccer, and several musical instruments. She loves art and reading. Ellie aspires to be a fire person and stands today to honor her grandfather, Korean War veteran Jack Hale, and her great-grandfather, World War II veteran Charles Koch. Today's second Poppy Queen, representing American Legion Post 317, is Angela Dolan. She is the daughter of Charles and Pamela Dolan, the 9th grade student and a 9th grade student at Pennsbury High School. Among Angela's interests and accomplishments, she holds a first and second academic degrees at Pennsbury, an NRA rifle rank of Marksman 1, and a Coast Guard boater's license. Her hobbies include skiing, paddling, boarding, swimming, boating, skiing, and art. Angela is a junior member of the American Legion Post 317 Auxiliary. Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud these ladies for their great citizenship. Sergeant Saldes, honor our dead.
Ready? Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Raise up! Oh!
Bugler, sound taps. Commanders Sabota and Smith will now raise the flag of our nation and then again lower the flag. We raise the flag as to salute those we honor, and we lower the flag as a continuing sign of our reverence. Revolutionary War poet Thomas Campbell wrote, "The patriot's blood is the seed of freedom's tree." Throughout our history, men and women of every race, creed, and orientation have bled and died so that we might be free. We know our grief for these losses, and we know our convictions to our nation. We can have no fear. We cannot divide our loyalties, undermine our moral courage, or separate from the destiny to which we are delivered. Our government and institutions must be protected, the sovereignty of our soil and nation must be guarded, and the prosperity of future generations must be ensured, because it is by our efforts that democracy will prevail, the rights and liberties of all people will be gained, and that our status as a great nation will remain. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank everyone for coming out, everyone for making this day possible. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless these United States of America.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a unbelievable event here annually, the Yardley Memorial Day Remembrance here in 2022. It's so unique that we can have so many individuals and community members and veterans involved, and we had so many individuals, sponsors as well from Yardley Borough helping out. Yardley Family Hair Cutters, Johnson Chiropractic Center, obviously, the Yardley Jewelers located right there on Afton Avenue, Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company, the Hemp Oil Store, helping each other here in Yardley Borough. Nottingham Insurance, you can call Peter Toft today directly at 215-493-1996, extension 214. BAI Security Systems, Neil Flax over there, specializing in sales and service. And of course, the real estate group, the Kim Rock Group, they're here, who lives in Lower Makefield. There are so many individuals that you want to thank over a short period. You just have a minimal amount of time, but the main theme that was prevalent all day is remembering, and we just saw taps being played and the flag being raised and then dropped once more. It's important that we can remember every individual here today, as we mentioned, whether you're celebrating at a pool or a grill or at a local neighborhood bar or restaurant. This is a day to remember wars not just we're currently fighting, but wars we did fight. Because there is a ton of individuals here that take pride in what they do and how they can definitely offend our country more and more, each day. And Russ Davidson, the senior vice commander for the VFW 6393, does a good job of putting this on together. And the keynote speaker, USN Joshua D. Johnson, did a really tough job of making sure that you remember individuals that lay their lives down for this country are just beginning their lives, and that's the hardest part that you see here today, is that you see a lot of individuals that definitely took care of our country and made sure we can enjoy the freedom and civil liberties we do, and there was a lot of young individuals, men and women, that unfortunately lost their lives, and they were just beginning. So it's a unique day of reflection here in Yardley Borough, and we can't thank you enough for joining us here. Can't thank Bill Redner enough here at WBCB putting this all together. Brianne O'Neill, who was out here bright and early, looking for the proper juice to get us going today. She did a great job, and I know Bill Redner's going to have some individuals come over and talk to us, but I mentioned some of the sponsors. You saw them ticking across our screen all morning. Yardley Family Hair Cutters saw the importance of this. You can call them today for an appointment at 215-321-6900. Joining us now is Yardley Borough Police Chief Joseph Kelly, and Chief, I spoke to you before the events. This is a all hands on deck day, and it's kind of symbolic of these individuals and how they kind of saw that for our country as well.
Yeah, it's great to be here on Memorial Day, and it's one of the easier days to get the all hands on deck out here. Our troops recognize the sacrifices made by the members lost, and we have a few officers who are actually military veterans, so it's not tough to motivate them to get out today.
That's a good way of saying it. You know, every year it kind of comes along Memorial Day. It is really a non-motivator. It's not something. It's not a. And I don't want to spread light of it. It's not a Christmas parade or a Thanksgiving Day parade where it's almost nostalgic more than anything. This is a day where you get individuals definitely want to be here for the reasons.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no price too high to pay to repay the price that was paid for us. So, we wake up a little bit early on a holiday, but we're happy to be out here and being part of something that pays respects to something bigger than us.
Chief Kelly also hosts a monthly show here on WBCB Bucks Blue, and you mentioned your next guest. If you want to preview that for our listeners, let them know what's coming up on.
Sure. Our next guest will be the third Tuesday in June. Will be Christine Nelson. Christine started a charity called Fuel the Force, and she's raised an enormous amount of money to help feed first responders while they're working. So we're going to hear her story about how she did that.
We look forward to seeing that. Chief Kelly, we can't thank you, all of your officers enough. You guys did an unbelievable job today. I got in okay, no issues. So we can't thank you enough. Everyone here. I know it's hard to thank everyone, but I know you're appreciative of everyone that kind of helped out today, and the weather worked out as well, which is nice.
Thanks very much for being here. And as I've said a million times before, I sit here and take the credit, but the police officers that are out on those thankless traffic posts right now are the ones doing all the work, making us look good. So
absolutely. You're to the radio talking. That's all you're doing.
That's all I do here.
Chief Kelly, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for everything. We mentioned Bucks Blue monthly. You can hear it on WBCB 1 to 2 o'clock. Taps Across America, the Yardley American Legion, at 3 p.m. today. You can go there across. Taps Across America at the Yardley American Legion at 3 o'clock. We'll have an event there. We can't thank them enough. We also want to make sure we thank Johnson Chiropractic Center. They do a great job during football season as well as during days like today. Call them today at 215-3100, located right here in Yardley Borough, 175 South Main Street in Yardley. We mentioned Yardley Jewelers. Been here since 1976. Locally owned and family-owned, operated family jewelry store in the heart of Yardley, right there at Main and Afton, just 100 feet from us. They do a great job of taking care of all of your precious metals and goods. Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company. There is nothing more besides hot dogs and hamburgers patriotic than a well-cooked crab cake. And Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company has them. You can call them today, 215-321-3939 right here in Yardley Borough. That's Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company. And look, if you're constantly in pain, if you have a hard time falling asleep, anxiety issues, visit the hemp store here, right here in Yardley. It's a distributor of the CBD medical products to help you live a better life. They offer a wide array of things that can help you. So that's the Yardley Hemp Store right here on East Afton Avenue. They offer free shipping as well to some of their products. Once again, we're here live at the Yardley Borough Memorial Day event hosted by the VFW. We want to thank everyone involved today. There was a bevy of individuals that you heard from. We had some distinguished guests as well. Mayor Harding spoke. We saw Pennsylvania State Rep Perry Warren, Yardley Borough Manager Paula Johnson, Police Chief Joseph Kelly, who just joined us, Russ Davidson, who put his entire event together. It's not easy orchestrating these things because every different township and every different area of the country, want to pay reverence to veterans today. So Russ Davidson did a great job of getting some really unique individuals out here that can do a great job of making sure we remember everyone who lost their lives today. And we saw the flag at half mast until noon as a remembrance of that. It will then be raised at full mast around noon. But this is a day to remember, and it's a day to make sure we don't forget at the same time any individual that you know. Reach out to them today, seek them. A simple phone call could really change the entire perspective of today, and just have you remember the ultimate sacrifice that they were willing to lie down that we talked about so much here today. Bill Redner, Brand O'Neill did a great job of making themselves available today here from WBCB. We can't thank them enough. Chief Kelly mentioned there's a ton of police presence here today for safety reasons, make sure that the roads can be quickly preserved, and I think they did a great job doing that, and we can't thank them enough, every individual that was here today. So a great event. we will be here unless something happens next year, every year, to make sure that we can pay true remembrance of every individual that lost their lives there and now in the future. And again, you saw across the screen the entire time all the Yardley Borough businesses that got involved, and we can't thank them enough. Just one more time, it's the hemp oil store here in Yardley. Nottingham Insurance, once again, you can call Peter Toff today, 215-493-1996, extension 214. BAI Security Systems, Neil Flax, right up the street, 100 yards away. Fire extinguisher sales and service right now, so give them a call if you have the time, 215-493-1414. I want to thank Johnson Chiropractic Center. They always do a great job. And the Kim Rock Group right here. Kim lives in Yardley area and knows the real estate market. So check out our website, thekimrockgroup.com. So that's going to wrap things up here today for Matt Miro, Bill Redner here on site. We thank Police Chief, Yardley Borough Police Chief Joseph Kelly for joining us, Russ Davidson for putting this event together, Paula Johnson, all the help she provided here, the township manager, and everyone, and you for spending time this morning with us to watch this true, unbelievable event that we do here each year. So for Matt Miro, Brianna O'Neill here, Bill Redner on site, thanking you. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and we'll see you next year.